One little mistake and it bites very hard.
100% committed throttle on the run into turn one. And it's a curved approach here under brake, so you've got to be particularly cautious in your brake pedal treatment, and it's about flow and carrying speed through here, and he's done it nicely. He was patient with the throttle before he got back to 100%. You can see the heel and toe to get it downshifted and turn through turn four, and again, nice throttle progression out the other side. He's using his feet in two different ways from a methodology standpoint. That's a bit unusual to do that at a midpoint during the lap. So now, committed throttle again, flat shifting all the way to the timing line. Looked like a pretty fair lap. It was fully committed at 11.5. Thing carried a pile of speed through that chicane, and I talked before about the commitment required there. It defies all normal race driver logic, and he slides awkwardly into turn 11.
Yeah, it locked the rears in the end of the braking phase, and then by the time he cleared the brake, it understeered too much and he missed the apex. So a 10.94,
and it slid on the exit. Oh, he's got the big slide on it. It locked up in the rear. So the minute he turned it in when he had brake pressure on and all the load was on the nose, it disconnected badly in the back. And that will have cost quite a lot of time.
Anton almost spun in the braking area and James Golding hit the apex wall there. So everybody so far has been caught out by turn 11.
24.6 in the mid-sector plays the best for Brodie so far on a 24 flat. So that certainly burnt some time on the stopwatch there. It was a good recovery. Prior to yesterday, Thomas Randall hadn't qualified a supercar at this location. We're jumping on board with him in the run here to turn one. And look how difficult it is, because you're not only braking, but you're turning for very high speed.
Come off turn two curve quite savagely, and you saw it when it lobbed out of turn three. It was sliding everywhere, so he didn't commence the lap very nicely, but he finished the lap very well.
Keep him rolling in that cruel to top 10 performance, unfortunately.
4 years tyres for Scott Pye, so he's got rotor tyres all around the car.
Into this final complex where, again, the direction change is a great challenge. It's easy to damage a tyre on both sides of the front of the car. Out the other side for him. Middle sector, very strong for Scott Pye. Best that we've seen so far. So it's lit up nicely in the back end of this lap, and this puts him to the top on a 1 minute 10.9. A fine lap there. Charlie Schwerkolt, the owner of the team for Team 18. So he was 2/100ths quicker than Anton in the first sector, hammering at 240 Ks on the run to the high-speed chicane, and it sat very nicely over all those curbs and planted itself back on the road comfortably.
3 green tyres, same policy as we saw before. All the loaded side and the left front tyre was roaded.
Now it's all about perfection in upshifting, and they're all studying data. This is going to be pretty close. Pye's the man they're all chasing, and now Chaz has gone to the top with a margin of 0.17. Can he do it again here now? Because if he can get into the first row or two of this grid, he's going to be right back in the game one more time. Gets the lap started now. The clock is now officially running for Waters. Opens up the approach to the corner to try and straighten that second segment out as much as he can. And then right there is where it all came unglued yesterday, but that looked very handsome. On the extreme outside of the approach to turn 11 where there's some camera, and I think he actually just rubbed it on exit there. I don't think there'll be any great hindrance as a result of that. It'll have put a scuff on it, but I doubt whether he's burned any time. He did a 23.8 in the mid-sector, so he's almost on par with what Scott Pye did. Final complex.
This is very, very good lap. This is going to smash them. If he's able to get it onto the main straight without too much wheel spin, this will be the number. This will be the new benchmark for Cam Waters. That little bump against the fence didn't do anything other than put a little bit of gravel rash. And he does a 10.72.
100 good.
And that job that he did yesterday to have such a margin in the shootout was extraordinary. Can he do it again today?
Put green rears on the car yesterday with roaded fronts. What do you reckon he's done again, Crombo?
Same.
Absolutely, 100%. He had to come right out of the throttle. So that middle sector has been a real disappointment for David Reynolds.
Mate, yeah, that back chicane cost us massive.
Alistair McVeigh just said that. Big chicane just cost us massive.
P5. Not a bad lap on the back chicane. Good job.
He's been winning races and grabbing pole positions this year. Can he grab another one today? The time that he did was a 1 minute 10.28. He was a winner here in 2012. He's not had a pole position here. He had a front row start though, and he looks as though he's off to a fair start. He's done a 20.6 in that first sector. He's about a 10th down on the best we've seen. He's got a lot of rear grip. It's hoiking the front wheels a lot out of these slow second gear corners at the moment. So it might be a whisker understeery in the final corner here for Will. Beautiful on exit. It's come out of there like an absolute rocket. What is the time going to look like now? Cam Waters comes back to his garage to report on his lap. He's the man they're chasing, and Davison's climbed over him in the final sector. It did get better as they ran. And so that was a 1 minute 10.6.
Slightly down at the first sector, but it's made up some ground on the way into the beach chicane. This looks like a very, very nice flow that he's had through there.
10.63 is the number. Oh, nice job. He was hungry over the top of the curve there in that final complex. He used every millimetre to the inside of it. And now it's just a straightforward run of gear shifting all the way to the flag. Mid-sector was brilliant. He's going to be right there with Will Davison, and he goes to the top. In fact, he's peeled a third of a second out. That's the way that we're going to see them line up for our big race this afternoon at 7 Armour All poles now for Shane in 2022. Interesting lineup of characters in there, and there's a couple of eyebrow raisers, notably James Golding. That is a very, very fine performance in his very first top 10 shootout. So Shane Van Gisbergen starts from the pole, but Will Davison had a speedy car yesterday afternoon, and he raced home strongly and almost got himself onto the podium. I expect that'll be a very strong race car this afternoon.